So ready? Father Abraham had many sons.
Many sons had Father Abraham. I am one of them, and so are you. So let's just praise the Lord right on. Father Abraham had many sons. Many sons of Father Abraham. I am one of them, and so are you. So let's just praise the Lord right arm, left arm. Father Abraham had many sons. Many sons had Father Abraham. I am one of them, and so are you. So let's just praise the Lord. Right arm, left arm, right foot. Father Abraham had many sons. Many sons had Father Abraham. I am one of them, and so are you. So let's just praise the Lord. Right arm, left arm, right foot, left foot. Father Abraham had many sons. Many sons had Father Abraham. I am one of them, and so are you. So let's just praise the Lord. Right arm, left arm, right foot, chin up. Father Abraham had many sons. Many sons had Father Abraham. I am one of them, and so are you. So let's just praise the Lord. Right arm, left arm, right foot, chin up, chest out. Father Abraham had many sons. Many sons had Father Abraham. I am one of them, and so are you. So let's just praise the Lord. Right arm, left arm, right foot, chin up, chest out, turn around. Father Abraham had many sons. Many sons had Father Abraham. I am one of them, and so are you. So let's just praise the Lord. Right arm, left arm, right foot, chin up, chest out, turn around, sit down.
So the next song we'll be singing is Onward Christian Soldiers.
Onward Christian soldiers, marching as to war, with the cross of Jesus going on before. Christ the royal master leads against the foe. Forward into battle, see his banners go. Onward Christian soldiers, marching as to war, with the cross of Jesus going
Love Lifted Me. So I don't know if you guys know the motion. So at first, it's lean forward, lean backwards, to the left, to the right, stand up, sit down, to the left, to the right. Okay? Everybody got it? Okay. So we'll start.
Sorry. Is it this one? Is
Yeah.
it this? Okay.
Lean forward, lean backward, to the left, to the right. Stand up, sit down, to the left, to the right. Lean forward, lean backward, to the left, to the right. Stand up, sit down, to the left, to the right. Love lifted me. Love lifted me. When nothing else could help, love lifted me. Love lifted me. Love lifted me. When nothing else could help, love lifted me. Can we do that again and actually people do the motions?
We got the Pathfinders, though. We got the Pathfinders.
Yes?
We'll raise the key just a little bit.
Okay. Ready? So lean forward, lean backward, to the left, to the right. Stand up, sit down, to the left, to the right. Lean forward, lean backward, to the left, to the right. Stand up, sit down, to the left, to the right. Love lifted me. Love lifted me. When nothing else could help, love lifted me. Love lifted me. Love lifted me. When nothing else could help, love lifted me. Thank you, guys. So we'll have now the AYA motto and pledge and song. So you guys can come. Yes.
The love of Christ that you live in?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the AY aim, the Advent message to all the world in my generation. Together, the motto.
The love of Christ compels me.
Okay, the pledge. All stand.
Just read it all together. Just read it all together.
Loving the Lord Jesus, I promise to take an active part in the youth ministry of the church, doing what I can to help others and finish the work of the gospel in all the world.
Okay. The song.
There's a song? I don't know it.
Advent is you, Lord, from every land and sea. Together we pray and work and play in happy harmony. We have a faith to share with others everywhere. The message of love from God above. Advent is you. Advent is you, Lord, we from every land and sea. Together we pray and work
come up and speak for us. Thumbs up. I just have a small icebreaker for us. Let's see what I have. So, what is one tradition that you've always have or want to have in your life or in your family? So, what is one spiritual tradition you have or always have wanted to have in your life or family? I'm sorry? He's going to bring the mic. Oh, bless your food before you eat it. Anybody else? Morning devotion.
Don't worry, man. Just go through when you're ready.
Oh, yes. So, what is one spiritual tradition you have or always have wanted to have in your life or family?
I would like to incorporate candle lighting into my Friday evening Sabbath ritual.
They can't.
I'd like to incorporate lighting candles into the Friday evening Sabbath ritual.
Amen. Anybody else? So for me, just as I think Sister Gwen said, I believe, family devotion, or was it, okay, Sister Joseph, family devotion is something I do with my family, and that is something I still incorporate in my life. So I think that is very important, and just even when I have my own family, it's something I will continue down the line as well. Anybody else would like to share? Pray before you go to bed. That's an important one for sure. I feel like we should always pray no matter what, right? Even if we're in the car, driving, just praying to the Lord, just to thank Him for all He has done for us is very important for sure.
You know, one thing with me and my kids, them, you see? From me have them, me want to have them with me. We always do worshiping on Wednesday and Friday. And through that, it seems like it's growing to them that they even in church at this moment. Because just to come to church on Saturday, or the Sabbath, because Saturday is just a day, but Sabbath is the day of the Lord. So just to come at church on Sabbath, it's just like it's just a ritual that people go through, just like how they go to party on Friday and Saturday and Sunday. They don't go to party on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. So if you have a spiritual life and you continue to have devotion most morning and most evening, because it's not all the while it happens, your family member will grow closer and you will have a better relationship with your Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
Amen. Amen. Anybody else? Did I see another hand? No. I want to, I'm sorry? Okay. Yeah, it does mean a lot. Well, I want to thank everyone for participating. Now we'll have the speaker of the hour, Nick, come up and give us. Yes, and I'm gonna also, I have some, if nobody have any books or pen, we have some for you guys. So if you just want to raise your hand and we'll just pass them out to you guys. For those who doesn't have any.
Go back to the presentation. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm a video here, right? Okay. That's perfect. Okay. Thank you. Say again?
What I've seen on Zoom, they've seen that screen.
Okay.
Give me a flash there. I'll put it from another computer and show you from the other one. And then you can see. It's saying, well, it's just today's thing, right? And they're seeing what they're seeing right now with my desktop. They're not seeing what's there.
Brother Melvin is working on some of the behind the scenes. Thank goodness for him. And I only expected to see 10 people here, so I'm a little nervous. This is the first time I've done this. So my daughter, she gave me some notes. She says, Daddy, she says, say your name. Hi, my name is Nick Josie. Eye contact. Can you see my eyes? Did she? Okay. She said 32. Yes. She said smile. No jokes. Okay. I can't read that. Okay. Don't embarrass us. Oh. Make us proud. Talk from the heart. Okay. I'll do the best I can. Okay. As I mentioned to you before, we're going to work on, Brother Melvin's making sure that the folks who are behind the scenes or who are watching by video can see what I'm going to share with you. And actually, I think I might take the mic down just a little bit. Okay, how's that? That's great. I'm not getting any feedback. So I'm going to be brief as 90 minutes will allow me to be. I hope that I'm going to give you some really important information, very helpful, so that you can make better informed decisions. Please feel free to ask any questions. Oftentimes I don't have answers, but feel free to ask questions. I'm going to talk to people about what many people don't talk about is personal finances. How are we doing there? Good. That's me. I'm here. Okay. We're almost there. And some of the things I talk about are intimidating. Sometimes they're a little scary. But I think if we don't talk about it, just like our relationships, if we don't talk, we won't have good results. So like I said, feel free to ask any questions as you see fit. And I'm just going to wait for Brother Melvin to give me the thumbs up, and then I can move forward. Okay, I got the thumbs up. Okay. Like I said, my name is Nick Josie. I'm the executive director of a local nonprofit. It's called the Vincita Institute. Vincita is the Italian word for victory of the people. So when we talk about financial things, we want people to become victorious, correct? Okay, great. And just a side note, many people here, how many people are familiar with Nike? Well, that's the Greek word for victory. So when you're performing in sports like that, they want you to be victorious. We chose something similar, but equal results. That's me. I'm going to give you the Reader's Digest version. I'm not going to read all that to you. Basically, this says I was, what does that say? I don't remember that. Oh, yeah. I'm the director of the Vincita Institute. Many years ago, almost 30 years ago, I got into the financial services. So I used to sell stocks, bonds, and mutual funds, all the different types of insurances. So all the things I'm going to talk to you about, I don't sell anything anymore. I'm not going to sell you anything. But what I did was 19 years ago, almost 20 years ago, I got off the road. I traveled the country, and I spoke and sold all of these things I'm going to talk to you about. But what I found was, you ever hear that term, you don't do more for outsiders than you do for home? And what I found was I'm traveling to California, D.C., all these other places. I'm doing all these wonderful things for other people and other organizations. But what about home? What about the people that are close to home? And so when I got off the road, I was committed to making sure that many people could make better informed decisions about their personal finances without being sold anything. Oftentimes when you come to a workshop, when it talks about financial things, they want to do what? They want to sell you something, right? So you come in for free, and then when you leave, just before you leave, they say, listen, for $3.99, we got this little special we want to sell you. No, that's not what financial literacy is. What financial literacy is helping people so that they can make the informed decisions that's going to benefit them and their families. Does that make sense? Okay, great. So enough of that. So bottom line is, I got off the road 19 years ago. We formed the Vincita Institute. We wanted to make sure that we empowered people. Our motto is to engage, educate, and empower people so that they can make those good decisions that helps them and their families. Is that fair? Okay. Now, everyone here, oh, this is interesting. Oops. How are we doing, Brother Melvin? Oh. Okay, so, no, should I stay here? Is this my best side? Okay, I'll stay right here. Okay, I'll try not to move too much. I can walk around? Okay, okay. So, Brother Melvin, can we see this? Large? This bears repeating. This applies to everyone. Well, it almost did. Okay, let's make sure we didn't miss anything. Okay, that's me. No matter how big our house is, no matter how new our car is, or how big our bank account is, our graves oftentimes are going to be the same size, correct? So we just ask people to stay humble. No matter what you have, no matter who you are, just stay humble. And I can't stress that enough. Everyone here, whether you realize it or not, everyone here has a financial profile. Your financial profile is nobody else's business, but you still have one. And it's up to you to address your financial profile. And what I mean by that, I keep it simple. Oh, I said I wasn't going to move around too much. I'm so sorry. I got to get that little spot here. Here we go. I'm going to stay right here. I'll try to. Your financial profile is 5 key areas. cash management, how you handle your income and expenses, your protection planning, which is insurances, and I'm going to talk to you about that. Then we talk about investments, retirement, and estate planning. Whether you can relate to those or not, they're all very important. Whether you have them or not, doesn't matter. They're all very important, both to you short-term and long-term. So some people might say, well, you know, I don't have this. It doesn't matter. It's still part of your financial profile, and it's only your concern until it becomes someone else's concern. I'll share that with you in a minute. Just want to make sure we just have a little... how are we doing with this here? I'm getting a little glitchy. She's not responding. Okay, good. Good. So the first, oops, let me just get this here. We missed a glitch. Here we go. Good. Okay, so we got cash management, insurance planning, investment planning, retirement planning, and then estate planning. And those are the 5 key areas. So everyone has a financial profile. I kind of do things in 5s, sometimes in 3s, but 5s kind of work for me. So the first area is how you handle your income and expenses. And that's where we talk about that's how we handle our income and our expenses. So you don't need a fancy budget. Just know, you just write it down. You know what your income is, right? Everyone here knows what their income is? Okay. And down, do you have a good idea of what is going out? Was that a yes or no? No? Okay. Then guess what? Then whoever said no might want to write this down tonight. Because now what's funny is this. When we were going through the middle of the pandemic, that's when we realized what we really needed, right? People started saying, I don't need this, I don't need 1 million channels, I don't need these subscriptions, I don't need these kids. I said that, I don't know if you said that, but there were things I just didn't want. I just started trying to cut out everything, right? But then after we get past the pandemic and we started to feel good, we started spending money again. Wasn't it funny that we were making do with a little bit, and then once we started making more money, we started doing what? We started spending more. And I ask people, I'm going to try to move over here. I ask people to save as much as you possibly can. Would you get mad at me if I asked you to do that? Is that something that you can do? Okay. So maybe tonight, write down what your income is. Write down what your expenses down. Here's the thing. What we absolutely need, we found this out a couple years ago, we need to shelter, right? We need to have a place to lay our heads. We need to eat, right? We need clothing. Not every 5 minutes, not every 2 days, but we need clothing. We need utilities. And then we need transportation. Transportation could mean different things. It could mean money to the MBTA, or it could be our vehicles, right? So those are 5 basic things that we need money for, correct? And when we got down to, when we were going through COVID, we said, you know what? Let's go to the bare essentials. Let's go back to basics. And did it work? It did work. You're still here. Okay, it definitely worked. And then the other thing is this. I talk to people about the importance of, if we're not spending money, there's an opportunity for us to save. And I ask people to work on your emergency funds. Your emergency funds means different things to different people. But I ask people, just consider saving 3 months to possibly 6 months of your committed monthly expenses and make that liquid. What do I mean by that? I'm not going to be a talking head. Brother Melvin, where'd he go? Can I come this far? How far can I come? Can I come this far? Okay, good. I'm good? Okay. I can come. I might go up there. So you can just look at this. You don't even need to look here. You just need to hear my voice and you can see what I'm talking about. I'm asking people more and more to save whatever they can. And why would I ask you to do that? Why am I asking people to save money? Well, what kind of rainy day could we possibly have? Sick, lose it. Did you hear? Well, show me your hands and I'll pick you on you. Why would, so she said sickness, you could lose your job. Did you raise your hand that quick and I didn't see it? What? I'm outnumbered here. I'm trying to, even though I'm trying to level. Another COVID. Oh my goodness. That they said that's once in a lifetime. I hope. I'm crossing my fingers. Another COVID. Who else? Yes. Issues with your house, car, roof leaks, hot water heater goes. So, your family who? Death. Yes, I'm going to cover that as well. So, life can happen when we least expect it. Would you agree? Okay. So the question is this: how prepared are we for life-happening events? Don't tell me. Oh, I heard some laughter over there. That means she's ready. How prepared are we for these life-happening events? Roof leaks, hot water heater goes, we could become unemployed, things like that. If we're not, then maybe we need to work towards that. And I'll tell you something that's really interesting. How often do you look at the billboards when you're driving? You see the billboards that they're selling stuff? How often do you see them asking you to save money? What are they asking you to do? Aren't they asking you to save money? Like what? Vacations? That's what they see on the billboards? Buy new cars? Groceries? Groceries. You must live in a nice section of town. They don't want...
It doesn't, it's not your amount that you save. It's not your amount that you save. So if you get $5 for your pay, you can spend $4 and save $1. You can save 50 cents because at the end of 6 months, at 50 cents is 30 cents. And at the end of the other 6 months is 60 cents. So it doesn't matter how much you save, you earn. It's just the amount that you save. So with me personally, I don't have to have a bank account to save. Because me personal purpose in my heart that if I get $5, I'm going to save 3 or save 1 and spend 4. So at the end of the day, I will still have something to rely back on if there is any circumstances or any emergency.
Okay, you hit the nail right on the head. So, he hit the nail right on the head. It doesn't make a difference how much you make or what you have coming in. It's what you do with it. It's what you do with it. And I'm asking people now, if I asked you to save as much money as you possibly could, would you get mad at me? Okay. Whew. Nicer than those other people I met last week. Whew. They were downright angry when I asked them to save money. So if you save more money, if you had 3 months of all your bills set aside, would that increase your peace of mind? Well, guess what? If 3 months is not enough, then maybe you can save a little bit more, right? To increase your peace of mind. And then that prepares you for life-happening events, because sure enough, as long as we're living and breathing, life is going to happen, correct? And it's to the extent that we're prepared for life-happening events, it reduces or increases our stress. What does it do? Does it increase our stress when we're ready, or does it decrease our stress when we're ready? It decreases our stress. And you know what? You see those people? Don't get mad when you see the people who have the road rage. They're one paycheck away from some really tough times. They tried to call in sick, they couldn't. They tried to use a vacation day, they couldn't. They tried to call in dead, they couldn't. So they have to get to work. They just got to get to work. And you're in the way. They started 10 minutes later than they should have, and you're in the way. So that's where we get the road rage. So you should just pull on over and let them get to where they're trying to get to, and hope that they get to their destination on time, safely. Okay? So don't get mad with the road ragers. Just get out of their way, because they got a job to do. And you know now, I just gave you the answer, now you know that they can't call in, so they got to get there where they're trying to get to. So just don't pay any mind to the horns and all the other business. But here's the other thing that's very important. They don't speak. They said people in this community, they have purchasing power. They said if you got all together, you could buy this whole building, you can do all these other wonderful things. But the other thing they say is when you see all those billboards, they're not asking you to save money. They say you have purchasing power, but no savings discipline. What do I mean by that? If you don't see, now let me just tell you how close we are to a $1 trillion company. We have some large financial institutions right down in downtown Boston, some of the largest in the country. They know exactly where this community is. They know those billboards that you told me about, that they say that they only ask you to spend your money. They don't invest. They don't put billboards up, but they do advertise. They advertise every single day. But they don't put billboards up asking you to save your money or invest your money with them. Now, if they have $1 trillion, that means they make good decisions with investments, correct? So why is it that they haven't invested in putting up a billboard to ask you to save or invest your money with them? And they're right down the street. They're right down in downtown Boston. It's not a trick question. What do you think? No, because they said many people in the community, they know how to spend money. But daggone it if they know how to save it. You know why? They say, they see the fancy cars, they see the fancy clothes, they see the jewelry, but they don't see where you want to come to them. Actually, they shouldn't have to. They should reach out to you and say, listen, this is what we have, this is what you can do with us. But that's not the case. So what happens is, if you don't have access to someone who wants to come and speak to you about you saving your money, about you becoming a better steward of your financial resources, they will continue to have information that's hiding in plain sight, and they won't share the information with you. It's not a conspiracy, it's just real life. If a lot of people haven't just come knock on your door and sat with you on a Saturday and say, hey, listen, you have to protect your financial bottom line. Because if you don't, no one else will. Remember these 5 things I'm telling you about? They're yours. No one else is going to take care of them but you. Do you see anyone wanting to just give you your emergency fund, whatever that 3 months is? Do you see someone just saying, let me just bless you with 3 months of all your bills. Let me just give that to you right now. Anyone do that to you recently? No? Okay. Okay. So if they're not going to do it, who's going to do it? Okay. All right. Now that gets me to the next question. Now, can you show me a dollar bill? Because just show me a dollar bill. Just please. Reach in, show me a dollar bill. Just whatever you got. Okay, I see one. Okay. Okay. Show me another dollar bill, please. No change. No change. Just dollar. Okay, good. I'm getting warmer. Thank you. Okay. Here's a question for you. Get nervous. Here's a question for you. Now, I've been standing here in front of you for about 15 minutes, I think. Seems like longer because I'm scared. I thought it was only be 10 people, but it's a few bit more. Who is the most important person in this room? Now, before you answer the question, just a show of hands, just you're just going to point. I want you to point to the most important person in this room. Now, let me tell you something. I've been standing here for a little bit. I've been giving you some good information, at least I hope so. Now I want you to point to the most important person in the room. Go ahead. No, you don't need to say it out loud. That makes me feel worse. Just, okay. Not one of you pointed at me. Okay. Well, good. Those dollar bills, you just hand them to me because I'm going to need some counseling. So you're going to pay for my counseling. So you are absolutely right. You are the most important person in this room. Okay? You are the most important person in this room. Now, let me explain something to you. There's 365 days in a year, correct? I'm speaking to you just 1 out of 365 days in a year. I'm hoping that what I say to you today will resonate with you throughout the year. I might get a chance to come back, but I don't assume that because tomorrow's not guaranteed. But I want to give you as much information as I possibly can today that will resonate with you throughout the year. Now, if you are the most important person in this room, I need you to make sure that you take care of number one. Because clearly I'm not it. Does that make sense? And if you don't believe me, what does the captain of the plane say when you're traveling? He says, this is your captain. If there's a sudden loss of cabin pressure, the oxygen mask will come down. We want you to put the mask on yourself first, and if you like the person you're traveling with, you can put the mask on them too. Is that what they say? Something like that? But the captain says put it on you first, correct? Okay, all right. So remember that. So if you don't remember what I say, remember what the captain says. Make sure that we look out for number one. Because human nature, and that's who we are, we do things for other people. Okay? We put God first. Oftentimes we put others second, and then we put ourselves third. God is always going to be most important because without him, we're not going to be able to do all the things, the wonderful things that we're doing today, correct? And hopefully tomorrow. So I want you to put yourself closer to the front of that line and make sure you look out for you too. And here's the thing I want people to think about. If you become, and many of you are, good stewards of your financial resources, then you can become ambassadors. You can say, now, I got a good question. Another pop quiz. Here we go. Can I get a quarter for a sandwich? No. She just told me, she answered it right though. She says, I don't have it to give. She didn't say she don't have it. She just said, I don't have it to give. So you can use that. Okay? If someone wants to ask you for money, because I'm sure they will, oftentimes they're not really good with their own money. They might think it's an emergency because there's a sale at Macy's that they need to get to, and they promise to give you the money back, but they never do. Say that again?
I said they never do.
Okay. Don't take my word for it. She just told me. So it's okay. You're not telling any stories. You just say, I don't have it to give. And then the more money that you keep in your pocket, you can increase your what? Peace of mind? Nothing wrong with that, right? Because you told me that earlier. Oops. The next thing is this. Budgeting. I don't put people on budgets. You take a look at what your income, what your expenses are, and you figure it out. And you say, well, you might want to look at separating your wants from your needs. We want a Bentley, but we need to keep our lights on. We want a mink coat, but we need to take care of our housing. Make sense? I might want a lace front weave, but I got to keep my phone on. You with me? Okay. So that's where we separate our wants from our needs. And if we do a better job of that on a regular basis, we'll get further ahead for ourselves and doing a better job of looking after who? Number one. Okay, great. Are you with me? Did I lose anyone? I'm trying to stay out of trouble here too. And if you can't, don't try not to take pictures of that. Just get as much as you can, and I'll repeat whatever I can. Yeah. Okay. The other thing is this. The second thing is insurance. I got real serious here when I talk about insurance. There's different types of insurance. Can you give me an idea? You bet.
You only went to buy one thing, but when you went in there, they have buy two for X amount. And then sometimes we go and we buy the two when we really wanted one. So that is an area where we need to really think about what we're doing. Do you really need those two, or you just need one?
That's a great question, but you just answered the question. Now, here's the other thing. I didn't want to go there, but you took me there. Right now, we're in the end of the year, okay? At the end of the year, in business, you're either in the red when you're not making any money, or you're in the black when you're making a lot of money, right? This is just, I'm not talking about specific numbers, but now what do we hear a lot of right now? Black Monday, Black Tuesday, Black Wednesday, cyber this, cyber that, black this, black this. Black is beautiful 365 days a year, but now at the end of the year, black becomes a good thing. You with me? At the end of the year, black becomes a good thing, and they're giving you information that's hiding in plain sight. They're saying, listen, we need to become profitable, and we need you to come in. It's not really like we're going to discount it, but we're going to offer it for 50% of what we were going to sell it to you before. We were going to make 400% off of you. Now we're just going to make 200% off of you. But just come on in. Come on in. Here's the thing. I don't run into stores unless it's 100% off. Legally. I like to see that store. But if I see that store, if I hear that store, I'm going to go with the big bags. It's 100% off, right? That's when I'm going to run to the stores. But anything else, everything is, let me explain something to you. They say it's on sale. No, everything is for sale. So the gimmick is to get you to come in. It's on sale. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in and get this 65-inch TV that you can't get through your front door. Okay? And come on in is $200. Now, this is the gimmick. Where do they put that TV? Do they put that at the front of the store that you can come on in and go on out? No, they put that TV in the back of the store. You're going to twist and turn. You have to ask for directions on where to get to that $200 TV, right? By the time you get there, they got two left. Then it takes you a half an hour to get someone to help you, and then now the one left. Now you're like holding on to the TV like, I saw it first. Because they don't think you're just going to go to that store, get one thing, and come on out. They know you're going to see 20 other things that you like, and then you'll get the TV as a bonus. Happens every time. What you say, things that you don't need, right? They know that. They spend millions of dollars in marketing to separate you from your money. And they don't care if your lights are on, your gas is paid, or you pay the utility. They don't care about that. They just need money at the end of the year so that they can become what? Wealthy and profitable. Some folks go in debt this time of the year, and some people go on vacation. Which one are you? Okay. Here's the other thing. When it comes to credit cards are great. Thank you. That was a great question. Credit cards are great. I love credit cards. I use credit cards. I don't keep balances on my credit cards. The same bank that will charge you 18% on your credit card, if you open up a bank account with them, they'll give you less than 1% interest. So the thing is, either you're paying interest or you're earning interest. Now, those folks who showed me that, show me their money again, please. Show me your money. I'm going to get that dollar. I need a dollar. Where'd it go? Thank you. Okay. No, put it back. No. I'm going to get lunch. Lunch is mine today. You got to answer this question here. How much interest, and don't look at your phones, how much interest are you earning at your bank? If you have a savings account, something like that, how much interest are you earning? Nope, I didn't see a dollar. You can't answer the question. Did you show me a dollar? Only people who show me dollars can answer this question. I'm trying to get my lunch money here. Can you answer that question? What was it? Do your homework next time. It's definitely not 2%. Anyone else? Any other takers? Well, listen, what's funny is this. You give your money to the bank all the time. Don't ask them how much interest you're going to earn, right? You're like, hey, I trust you, FDIC insurance, I'll give you my money. But what's in it for you? Anyone else? I'm thinking steak and cheese. What else you got? Anyone else got a guesses how much interest they earn? No? I'm sorry? Okay. Hey, listen. I love wrong answers. So think about it. Credit cards, they're not your friends. If you do have a balance, work on paying that balance off, because that's a lot of interest. 18, 20, 21%, they're not your friends. And the thing is this, they don't mind. So there's another thing, a lot of confusion when they talk about they want you to keep a balance on your card. Who wants you to keep a balance on your card in order for you to have good credit? The people that you're paying interest to. The people that you're paying interest to want you to keep a balance on your credit card. Wipe those credit cards down. Get those credit cards paid down as quickly as you possibly can. And see if you don't get a lot of credit card offers. I'm sorry? How to do that? Remember I said those 5 basic things that we absolutely need? If we stick to those 5 basic things that we absolutely need, then any extra money can go towards paying down those credit cards. Okay? If we go back to the basics that we did before, we want to work on paying those credit cards off. And then the thing is this, what they don't speak to you about, remember I told you about those companies? They don't talk to you about assets. If they know you're spending money on a regular basis, they're not going to speak to you about the importance of assets and building assets. They're just going to keep selling to you. What's wrong with that? How does that help you? It helps them. So every day in and day out, we're always helping other people, right? But what does your financial bottom line look like? Are you in the red or are you in the black? Don't tell me, but I need you to think about that. Not just today, but throughout the year. I need you to think about, how can I get in the what? In the black. And get out of the what? You with me? Does that make sense? Is that something you might want to try to do moving forward? Okay, good. Now, I'll tell you this real quick. I'm going to talk to you about the insurance, protection planning, adequate protection. Adequate protection says, hey, listen, I know I'm working towards building up my cash reserves, working on building up my emergency fund, and I'm also want to make sure that when I step out my door, I'm covered. What do I mean by that? If we have a car, what do we have to have? If we have a house, what do we have to have? Okay. If they say like if you file your taxes, you have to have what kind of insurance? Medical insurance, right? Okay. So when I leave my house, is there a guarantee that I'm gonna make it back home? Okay. But how come they don't make it mandatory that we have life insurance? I may not have a car. I may not have any health issues. I may not have a fire or a flood or anything like that with my house or my apartment, correct? But I'm definitely not getting out of this thing called life alive. Would you agree? Okay. Well, actually, maybe not you, but my aunt who raised me, my aunt and uncle took me in when I was a teenager, but my aunt Katie, we're mixing the flour, water, yeast, and sugar for the rolls the next day, and she says, I told her about my friend who he was 14 and he passed away. I said, Aunt Katie, boy, I could be next because he was the same age as me. She said, baby, only the good die young. You're going to be around a long time. So I might not need insurance. Think about that. Only the good die young. I'm going to be around a very long time. That's what she told me. So we need to make sure that we have some type of coverage, because GoFundMe is not life insurance. Would you agree? Now, listen, I know we love, and the thing is, life does happen when we least expect it. And oftentimes, it catches us at an inopportune time. They can, so she asked, the question was, am I talking about life insurance that pays for your burial? Or am I talking about life insurance that pays and gives something to your kids? The most important thing is you. So if we leave here, I want to make sure that we have enough money for the services. And if there's anything left over, then yeah, it can go to the kids. But the most important person is you.
So I just recently realized that if you have an insurance that you took out on your job, maybe when you were 20-something years old, and it's a 30-year life insurance, after that 30 years is up, if you want to continue it, the monthly payment doubles. So what do you do? What do you do?
What she just said was, there's 4 types of insurance. I'm not going to go heavily into them, but the type of insurance you just mentioned was term insurance. And term insurance is like renting, okay? And we have a relationship with an insurance company. It could be John Hancock, Prudential, whoever it is, and we're betting them that there's a possibility that something might happen in 30 years. If nothing happens in 30 years, and you go to that same insurance company that took the money, and that was it, they said, well, if you want to do business with us again, it's going to cost you double. Why? Because you're older and you're closer to that special age where life can happen. Yes? I do. I have a lot of information about long-term care. I used to sell a lot of long-term care. Trust me. It's very, very important. But I just want to get to the basics first, and I can circle back. Who else had a question about this? Yes.
The best insurance you can buy is insurance with investment. Because I have an insurance. I pay it every month. And at the end of the year, I can go there and draw some money. They have some money there for me, so I can go there. I go to Jamaica with you, and we go to Jamaica and we want some money. We just go down there and get some money, because you have that thing. So you have to know what kind of insurance you are buying. But if you buy the insurance that say investment, insurance with investment, that means that they invest a part of that money, and you get a profit every year.
I'm going to come to that. She referenced one type of insurance, which is term insurance, which is renting. It could be 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. At the end of the 10, 20, 30 years, it goes away, or you try to re-up, and then it costs a lot more. There's other types, which many times when we first learned about insurance, we heard about whole life. Whole life, how long do you pay for that for? Exactly. But the thing is, it's fairly expensive, but you know what? For what we need it to do, some people use it to, like you said, take money out and go on trips. I tell you, I encourage people to just use the insurance for what it's there for. If you need it for a death benefit, if you need it for what, to make sure that your arrangements are taken care of, use it specifically for that. There's a column for that. A specific column. That's just what that's for. If you want to do other things, you want to do investments, that's another column. But the most important thing is when you leave your house, you need to make sure that you have a good exit strategy. If we don't make it back home, we have a good exit strategy. The other thing is very important with your insurance. Make sure that all of your beneficiaries are up to date. If you don't like them anymore, change it. I changed 3 times this year.
Question.
Yes.
Is it wise to have life insurance on your property if your property can pay for itself?
It depends on if you have a mortgage. If you still have a mortgage, the question is, is it wise to have life insurance or insurance to cover your property if the property pays for itself? The question is, if you have a mortgage, if you have an outstanding mortgage, if you leave here, who's going to pay the mortgage?
No, that's not what I meant. I meant insurance that if you die, the property will automatically be paid for.
At the time when you get your mortgage, that's an option. So when you're signing up, this PMI is different from the insurance that you get to insure your life. But you do that at the closing.
I got it.
Okay. Any other questions? And with regards to the long-term care can be a little pricey. I sold it 30 years ago. Long-term care is designed to help seniors when they can't do all the things that they used to do. There's different phases and stages. So if the senior can't perform their activities of daily living, like they might need a little home health aide to come in and help straighten up a little bit or help clean up a little bit. That's one aspect of the insurance. The other one could be, listen, we need assisted living. And then that could be another aspect of the policy. But when you need it is not when you want to buy it. They want you to pay for this 20, 30 years. In fact, many companies got out of the business because people were actually using it. They were saying, now there's a benefit. When I was selling it 30 years ago, it would be $5,000 to $6,000 was the monthly benefit, the maximum monthly benefit. And it could go on for, say, 5 to 10 years. So many people actually use long-term care insurance that many of those companies said, oh, no, we're out of this business, because they actually had to pay out. Insurance companies aren't building these tall buildings to give you money. Insurance companies will ask you your height, weight, smoking, non-smoking, drinking. They'll ask you a million questions to see if they want to insure you. Why is that? Because they want... Depending on the facility. And what you just pick. The sad answer is, and it's unfortunate, but the sad answer is, when we need the care, it's too late. There's a thing called a 5-year look back. The government and anyone who wants to provide any services or benefits to you, they want to look and see what you owned 5 years ago. Did you own a house? Did you own a car? Did you have bank accounts? Did you have savings accounts? Did you have annuities? They want to know, what did you have? And if you did planning 6 years ago, they're going to see that, oh my goodness, she doesn't have anything in her name or their name. Then you qualify for everything that's free. On paper. If you don't own it, you benefit. Who didn't hear it? Where's your dad? That's your dad? Oh, that's your dad. Okay. I shouldn't be surprised. Okay, so with long-term, with the government has a 5-year look back. The government says, if we're going to provide long-term care, if we're going to provide memory care, they want to see that what assets you owned 5 years ago. So they can look at your bank accounts, they can look at your real estate transactions, they can look at your car, annuities, all those things 5 years ago. So if you move things out of your name, if you don't have long-term care insurance, this is the strategy. You move those things out of your name, and then 5 or 6 years later, when you need those things, then you will qualify for all those benefits. So this is the planning aspect. And unfortunately, like I said to you before, earlier at the outset, those companies are right down the street. I just said that. They told you before? It is. I know. No, he was just saying that it's troublesome to realize that these are the rules, and we have to play by the rules that the rules that we're given. Does that make sense? Do you have another question?
I don't know if it's a question. It could be a question, but I see where some people who don't have much, didn't really do much in this country work-wise, but they seem to be doing well, and they seem to be living well, you know.
You know what? I'm going to get to that.
Okay.
You can't judge a book by its cover. I'm going to talk to you about that a little bit. And the most important thing is that we do the best we can and that we stay in our own lanes, because if I give you advice, it may not be applicable to you. And the next time you ask a question, you have $1? I'm trying to you know, the only reason why it's wet is because I was squeezing it so hard. I hold it. It cries. Yes. Mm-hmm.
The first thing we have to realize is that this government does not want you to be rich. They want to keep you poor. To control. I give you an example. A few years ago, when I got laid off, well, before that, years ago when I first had my daughter and my ex had left and so on, and I wanted a little aid. So I went and applied for food stamps, and they denied it because my income tax was too much the year before, right? So then I said, okay, let's fast forward. I lost my job in 2010. And in 2010, I was able to get my house fixed. I was able to get all kinds of benefits from the government because I had no income, right? So what people are facing now is that, okay, so, you know, I'm making money, I want to work, but the system says if you work, I'm not giving you anything. So now you have people who are hiding. You know, we work with a lot of Section 8 clients, and they are hiding the husbands or the boyfriends because they cannot claim that they have anyone. Otherwise, Section 8, the government, wants you to itemize everything from the spouse or whoever you have, right? So now you're not qualified. They kick you off the program. So as Christians, I believe that we need to be self-sufficient. We need to make sure that we are very wise with how we spend, what we do with what we have. The other point I want to make is on the insurance. A lot of homeowners are here, and you bought insurance when you first bought the property. But have you ever gone back and revisited that property to see if it's worth what it says back when you bought it? For instance, your property was worth $500,000 when you first bought it. The replacement cost of that property has now tripled. Have you gone back and looked at the insurance to make sure that if your house burnt down, and we just had an experience with a fire on one of our properties, if the house burns down, is the insurance company going to give you the replacement cost now?
Well, that's a great question, but there's two types of insurance, and she raised a really important question. If you are a homeowner, and I'm going to touch on that, if you are a homeowner, when you signed up for your insurance policy, your property casualty policy, there's two types of coverage. There's cash value, meaning what it's worth today, or, like you said, full replacement value. So what is it going to, if there's, now hopefully that we don't have any catastrophic events anytime soon, but just to be aware, if the house were to fully burn down, your insurance company is going to say, this is what we're going to pay you. It may or may not be enough for you to rebuild because you have a cash value policy, which costs a little bit less. But if we have a full replacement value, whatever it's appreciated to, you bought it at $500,000, now it's $750,000, that's what they will cover, the full replacement value. So you have to look at your policies now. When you go home, say, do I have a cash value policy or do I have a full replacement value? And then you call the insurance company and ask them to help you understand which one you have. Because we want to be proactive versus reactive. Because oftentimes when we have emergencies or life-happening events, we become reactive. But I'm giving you a lot of information in advance so that you can become proactive and make better informed decisions. That's going to benefit you and your family. Does that make sense?
Right, and also, when you're reviewing the policy, make sure that the contents are also up to date. You know, because you have you have your equipment, your expensive equipment you purchase, you know, your computers and what have you. You need to have them, you know, take a picture of them so you can prove that you had those things, and also to make sure that you increase. But a lot of people go for the cheaper annual cost than for what they really should be paying. So we penny wise, pound foolish a lot of times. And you know?
I'm going to hold on one second. The other thing is this, to piggyback on what you just said, I ask people to take today's newspaper, 11/11, and then you go take a video of your house, because that's fluid, right? And you inventory everything that's in your house, and you can give the approximate value, and then you can save that on your email, or you can send it to the cloud. So if you ever have a life-happening event, you can refer back to your video coverage. Yes?
So the cash value insurance is cheaper than the
full replacement value, correct.
Okay.
Okay. Great questions. I'm going to power through. But conceptually, does that make sense? Okay. So long as they know what it is, and that's, I said, if you take a video of it and then you send it to them, they know what they're insuring. As I mentioned to you earlier, you tell the insurance company that we had an 85-inch TV. Well, they say, well, 85-inch TV wouldn't fit in your house, but if you have a video of it, you can verify that you actually owned it. That make sense? Okay. I'm going to power right through this real quick. Here's the thing. This is, am I going to have time for this? This is, it bears mentioning. Many people say, well, you know, I make this, or this is how much I receive, but I'm not getting where I want to get to. And I call it, there's 5 reasons why. One is lack of discipline. I get phone calls in January saying, Nick, I love that session that we went to. I'm going to start doing these things. I'm going to start saving money. I'm going to make sure I have insurance. I'm going to make sure I have investments. I'm going to do it. But can you just answer this question real quick? I answer the question, okay, thanks so much. Then I get a call from the same person in April. Nick, listen, great stuff. I'm going to do it. I'm going to get on this stuff. I'm going to start saving money. I'm going to start doing these investments. But I got a quick question for you. Okay, I can answer the question. Then they call me back in September. Nick, I had a crazy year, but I'm going to do it. That's discipline. Discipline and procrastination, I'm getting to both. The thing is this, you have to get into the habit of looking out for number one. So discipline is the key thing. Remember I said that the reason why they don't market to the people in the community? Because they have purchasing power, but they don't have savings discipline. People don't save on a regular basis. And they've done studies and they've analyzed folks in the community and said, nope, these people spend, they're spenders, not savers. So discipline is very important. And materialism. Materialism is, I ask people all the time, I said, wherever I go, I said, do you want to, this is not a pop quiz, but you can only answer one, either or, not both. Do you want to look good or do you want to feel good? And here's my both. Both. I said one or the other. Okay. But more often, if you don't remember anything else I say, I want you to remember my 3 F's. My 3 F's say, I'm the reason why I won't leave my home, leave my family, to go out to impress other people and spend money. People call me frugal. Some people call me cheap, but they know me. But I like frugal. If you're not feeding me, I'm not going to leave my team, people that care about me, to go out and impress and look a certain kind of way and drive fancy this or wear fancy that, right? Because you're not part of my team. I don't even know you. Why do I want to impress you? If you're not feeding me, I'm not doing that. If you're not financing me, if you're not giving me money, I'm not going to leave my home and my family and people that really, really care about me to go out to impress people who don't know me, who don't care about me, and don't have my best interest in mind. And if you're not my immediate family, that's the 3rd F, up close and personal, why should I do this? Why should I leave the house to put on airs, to look a certain way for those people outside of my home? Because home is where what is? The heart is. That's where all the love is. That's where all the love and support and uplift we're going to get. But people have this twisted. They think that they need to look a certain way. My aunt who raised me says, Nick, make sure you have clean underwear, just in case you have an accident. I said, well, Aunt Katie, if I get hit by the bus, I won't have clean underwear anymore. She says, you know what I mean, boy, just make sure you have clean underwear. But we need to make sure that we're doing the things that are going to keep more money in our pocket and stop living for other people. So when I ask people, do you want to look good? Do you want to feel good? Who are you looking good for? Nope, you ran out. Nope. 4 questions ago, you ran out. There's a quota over here. I got to keep it even over here. These people over here haven't asked me any questions. The question... If you find yourself not trying to impress other people, you will find that you have more money saved. And our faith, our family, and our friendships are very, very important. So you can use those as the 3 F's as well. But if you find yourself spending money because you want to look a certain way for other people, you're not going to have your buckets that filled up. I want to get in on this actually here. Something more important than what I'm talking about. Okay. The other thing is this, debt. Remember I talked to you about credit cards? They are not your friends. Those credit card companies are not your friends, and you want to do your best to get those things paid down as quickly as you possibly can. Remember I told you, what's the interest rate that your bank's going to pay you? Did you? You can answer this question if you have a dollar. What's the interest rate that your bank is paying you? Yep. Good answer. These folks did their research. 0.01 is close. But the interest rate that you pay for your credit cards, but the interest rates that you're paying. So let's pay off that debt as quickly as we possibly can. Taxes. If you owe uncles, whoops. If you owe Uncle Sam or the Department of Revenue, remember they say 2 things are guaranteed, death and taxes? You got to die and you got to pay your taxes. It's okay to reach out and arrange to negotiate to lower your tax bill with both of them. Everything's negotiable. But that's another thing that stops people from getting ahead, is taxes. And like I said before, procrastination is the other thing that stops people. The other thing is the Joneses. Anybody hear about the Joneses? Anyone try to keep up with the Joneses? Let me explain something to you. The Joneses have a big head start on you. They got $200 billion. So when you spend $1,500 on an iPhone, it's totally different when you're the Joneses. You're not in there. You may catch up to them, but right now, we don't want to keep up with them. So you don't want to spend like the Joneses. Are you with me? Because the other thing is this. Oftentimes, people, they go out and they buy the fancy cars, and nothing wrong with a fancy car. But if you make 70, but you're driving a $40,000 car, your boss knows how much they're paying you. You're driving a $40,000 car when they're paying you 70. They got you. And oftentimes, have you ever, anyone, show of hands, has anyone had a mean-spirited boss? Has anyone had a boss that wasn't very nice? Am I the only one? Okay. Show of hands. Who has ever had a boss that wasn't very nice? Okay. Now, what's interesting is this. If they're not very nice, and they think that you are one paycheck away from some really tough times, do they put more pressure on you or less pressure on you? So more pressure means there's a possibility you might make a mistake and you possibly lose that job, correct? But imagine if you had adequate savings. Then you could, what? Did she hear what she said? I need you. She said, say it again, say it again.
You can walk off the job.
Thank you. You have to, you heard what she said? She said you can walk off the job. So if you have that, if you write down whatever that number is, it's called F and U. Forget you. Just keep your mind clear. Forget you. That means I can leave here. I'm just going with what she just said. I forget you. I can leave this job. I need everyone to have that forget you number. I need everyone to have that number ready so that if you get one of those mean-spirited bosses, you can leave. You've done it many times. And she's landed on her feet. She's still smiling, so she's doing well. Okay. So forget the Joneses. This is a snapshot. Someone was telling me about someone doing well. So this is a family in our neighborhood. Could be our next door neighbor, could be anyone, right? Beautiful family, 2.1 kids. One baby's on the way, right? Looks great. Let's take a look at their financial profile. That's the reason why I said stay in your own financial lane. Don't worry about what anyone else is doing. So guess what? They have $10,000. No, listen. They look good. They got credit cards because they have to look good, right? Shh, but you don't know. You're not supposed to know this. We're just taking a little snap. I didn't talk about that yet. We got credit cards. We got car loans. We got the Mercedes. We got the Range Rover. We got to look good, right? You're still, I know. But so remember I talked about the road rage people? This is them. They got the credit cards, they got the car loans, they got the mortgage. That was a gift. That was a family gift. So that's the reason why it's so low. And then typically you're not going to get anything under $500,000, $600,000, but they got 265, so they're okay. So here's the thing. What no one talks to you about, remember I talked to you about the companies, how they want to be in the black or in the red? Let's look at this as an individual. you have to take a look at your financial profile and see how it matches up. So they're doing pretty good. They got $10,000 in savings, right? But people in the community don't ask, what is my net worth? My net worth is all of my assets minus my liabilities. If I have a negative net worth, things can be a little tough. I can't miss not one paycheck. So remember I told you about that person who has the road rage? This could be them. It could be anyone. It could be your next door neighbor that has the fancy this, fancy that. Don't worry about them. I ask everyone to stay in your own financial lane. Stay in your lane. Do what works for you. Okay? Don't worry about anyone else. Remember how my teacher used to tell me all the time, stop looking at Johnny's paper. I kept getting wrong answers from Johnny, so I stopped looking at his paper. But stay in your own lane. Make sense? Okay. So, and the thing is this is not a judgment call. I work in a judgment-free zone, so I don't make judgments, but I want people to be aware of where you need to improve and not worry about what they're doing, but do the best you can possibly be. This is the thing. If you have a budget sheet, you can just do it. Anyone can just pull up a budget sheet. You don't need a fancy thing like this. Take a look at what you have for income and expenses, write it down, and figure out where you stand. This is what typically people do. When you get money, right? When money comes in, this is typically what we do. We take care of our housing, food, and the essentials. Then we take care of the credit cards, the loans, and all the stuff. And then after working 40, 50, 60 hours in a week, we need to do something for ourselves. And what's that? Right? It's the American way. It's the rat race. It's the hamster wheel. Where's that hamster going? Same thing, different day, right? Same thing. Where's he going? This is what they trained us to do. They trained us to take care of your responsibilities and have some fun and get back to that job and do this thing. But what they don't talk to you about, what's really important, is doing something for someone else. I always talk about, wherever I go, I always talk about the importance of giving back. We understand it as a divine principle in church, but it is a very important principle where when we get something, do something for somebody else. At a minimum, 10%. It's a divine law, but I can't say that outside of churches because then I get, people don't want to talk about the biblical importance of this, but we always have to do something for somebody else. And I break it down to this. You have to do time. Donate your time. If you have something, it's not always money, but if you have something, do something for somebody else. Don't count the cost. It always comes back. We always talk about karma, right? Tell me about karma. What's that mean? Ooh. Goes around, comes around. Is that right? So if I do something to somebody, that's coming back. Most of the time, that's what people talk about. Yeah, you wait, karma is something else. You wait till you get your karma back. I'm looking forward to karma. You know why I'm looking forward to? Because I think it's important to do something for other people. Don't count the cost because it always comes back. Okay? So you have your time. You have your talents. Share your talents. We have so many wonderful people who have all these different talents. Share your talents. Give it away. Do something for somebody else. It always, always comes back. And then your treasure, that's our 10%. If we have our tithes, I'm speaking to the choir, I know you don't know about this, but oftentimes people who, they say they're not prospering is because they forget to do things for other people. And I've seen this work time and time again where you just do something, don't count the cost, it always comes back. That's not the reason why we have to do it, but it's divinely said that we should do these things. But it always bears repeating. When we get money, I do this. If you're not doing this, it's okay, but try it. I already talked to you about the golden rule, doing something for someone else, that's the 10%. The other thing is this. People oftentimes forget to pay themselves. You're so busy taking care of everyone else, you forget to take care of number one. You told me you're number one because you did. When I asked you earlier who was the most important person in the room, you didn't point at me, you pointed at yourself. I'm going to need counseling, I'm going to need that dollar back too. So pay yourself first. And then the last thing is The 70% that's left over, that's where you, remember those 5 buckets I told you? Your savings, insurance, investments, retirement, estate planning. The 70%, your money has to stretch to fill up whose buckets? Whose buckets are you trying to fill up? My buckets or yours? Your financial buckets, correct? Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. Because oftentimes people try to pay themselves last. And then, I just told you, like, there's nothing left. Get into the habit, and a little bit of something is better than a whole lot of nothing. Would you agree? Even if you're not paying yourself a lot right now, if you just start a little bit at a time, yes, and it doesn't matter your income. A little bit of something is better than a whole lot of nothing. It's just changing the mindset. That's all I'm asking you to do. I talked about credit cards. They're not your friends. Get away from them. Get rid of them. And here's the thing. If you have credit cards, don't be afraid to ask your credit card company if they have any special promotions where you can get 0% or a lower percentage. Everything is negotiable. And if you don't ask, we miss 100% of the shots we don't take. If we don't ask them, they're not going to tell us. They're not going to call. They have millions of customers. They're not going to ask, hey, by the way, you know what? You're a really good customer. We make so much interest off of you. Why would they tell you we have a special to lower your interest rate? Why would they do that? Here's the thing. Everyone wants your money. These are the folks that want your money. These are folks, I call them wealth distractors. People who are always trying to take money from, put your glasses on, you name it. Disney, Nike, McDonald's, Visa, Shell, MasterCard, you name it. They want your money. But I need you to want your money more. I need you to want it more. I need you to keep it. I need you to do your best to hold on to your money as long as you possibly can. That's the Vincent Institute. That's all we do. We just tell people to save your money and hold on to it as much as you possibly can. This is your action plan. Assess your wants from your needs. Take a look at what you have for income and expenses. You break it down. Nobody else knows your business. This is you. If you're not doing it, we got to start somewhere. Very important thing. Your important documents. I need everyone here to have waterproof, that's cheating. I need everyone here, because I may run out of time. I need everyone here to have a waterproof, fireproof safe. Why would I suggest something like that? Could that happen? Hold on. I couldn't hear you.
No, we said them soon stop dealing with paper, so we don't need no safe again.
No, we always will. Passports, birth certificates, marriage certificates, insurance policies, homeowners, okay? So here's the other thing. If you have that, that's great, but I also want you to be mindful of this. I want your safe to be large enough for you to leave these papers flat. Have you ever looked at a file or something that was folded up for 10 years? When you try to open it up, you can't read it anymore. So it's ideal if you can keep it flat when it's in that waterproof, fireproof safe. Make sense? Okay, good. People send me these things all the time. I don't know what this means, but can you explain this to me? Do you agree with that? Someone sent that to me. Do you believe that? Is it true? Give me an example of that.
I would say wealth is like your assets. I mean, like let's say you're talking about having properties like estate. Estate doesn't say anything; it's just there. But when you look at rich, it's loud in the sense that it could come in cars, what you wear, stuff like that. But then wealth is something that just builds itself, like assets that you were talking about. And then poor is flashy, which is kind of like what I was saying, flashy clothes, people buying things they can't afford, like what you were saying, like that family that has the Range Rover, but it's in debt. So that's how poor is flashy.
That's a great job. Did you hear what he said? Thank you. Thank you very much. It bears repeating. And the thing is oftentimes we see it in certain communities where mom has a special deal with housing, but the son pays $600 for a Mercedes and living with mom. Okay. There's nothing wrong with a special deal with housing, and there's nothing wrong with a $600 Mercedes. They just don't go together. Okay? But society says, hey, if you want to be something, if they want you to look flashy, then you do that. They should be talking to that same person about building up assets. Oh my God, they included that. They send me these things all the time. They said, Nick, you got to share this one. I don't know if you can relate to that or not, but they asked me to share that with you. Insurance, we know we need it. Here's the other thing. Make sure you have, we know we have health insurance. We know we have that. Review your life insurance. Make sure you know that your beneficiaries are up to date. Make sure they're people that you like. Don't be like me, changing the beneficiaries three times in the same year. I'm going to like somebody. But here's the other thing. Yes.
On having an umbrella policy?
Very important. If you have income property, it's good to have an umbrella policy because right now, more and more people are looking to sue. If they trip, like, oops, how much does the church have? I have witnesses. Okay, fine. People are looking to sue for a hangnail, so the umbrella policy protects you. Do whatever you can to protect yourself so long as it fits your budget. So I ask people to do what's going to benefit you so long as it fits your budget. Make sense? Yes. She said, is it important or necessary to have flood insurance on your property? Guess what? If you're in the flood zone, they won't sell it to you. I had a property in Virginia Beach, but it was in the flood zone. I couldn't get flood insurance. That's just the way it is. So if you can get flood insurance, it's highly unlikely that it's going to flood, but it's good to have. You want all the coverages that your budget can afford, just in case life happens. I'm coming at you.
See news, so I had to take note of it. So she was on vacation with her parents. She got sick, and in order to fly her from Athens, Greece, back to the U.S., it was $120,000 just to fly her. And it's extra also for the medicine that she got along the way. Now, it's good to note that the travel insurance that you buy, you'll have to be careful which type you buy, because even though you have the insurance, it still may not cover everything. So you have to have multiple stuff going on. A lot of times people don't buy travel insurance and they say, well, you know, nothing's going to happen to me, right? And so they don't buy it. And then what happens? You get COVID, you get the flu and you can't travel because in our case where people got sick and they could not board the ship. They would not allow them to board. If they had the insurance, they would have been able to file for the insurance and get back the money minus what they paid for the insurance. So
I need you on my team. I need her on my team. I need her on my team. That's great stuff.
So I just wanted to just comment on the travel insurance, and so I work in case management, and we get people off the plane from Logan, off the ships at Black Falcon Pier, and they fall, whatever, and you know, people, especially people from Europe, I think most people coming from Europe, they have travel insurance because it's like necessary, mandated, you know, but in the U.S., people think, oh, I don't need it, I don't need it. I have a colleague who went to Bermuda, and she was walking on the beach, she stepped in a hole in the sand, fractured her ankle. Thank God she had travel insurance, and they were able to take care of her at the hospital. She had no bill from that. If she didn't have the travel insurance, she would have had to pay thousands of dollars for that. And also, recently I had a patient from England, and he came off the plane, he was sick, came to our hospital, and the travel insurance took care of everything, including medical transport, doctor and nurse to come pick him up at Mass General, and take him directly to a hospital in London. So very important to have travel insurance. Thank you.
And how many of you intend to travel anytime soon? Don't take my word for it. Alicia, thank you so much. Someone wants a microphone? Oh, yes, yes, yes.
I also want to say, if you're like dependent to go back home, say Jamaica, Trinidad, wherever, right? Costa Rica, Panama, wherever you're from, you should also have travel insurance because you can get sick while you're home and they don't have the proper medical facilities to treat you, right? That's happened to my brother-in-law. He had a heart attack. And when his daughter went down to check on him, they just had a dry IV in his arm. He was delirious. They didn't have the equipment to run any tests, right? And because he didn't have travel insurance, then his kids had to come up with the thousands of dollars it took to pay to get him shipped back to the U.S. where he could get proper care. And his doctor was like, you're a walking miracle. You should have been dead. So if you're that type of person where you go home, even if you say, I'm only going for the summer, get the insurance. It only costs a couple $100. Sometimes not even that.
And that would also give you peace of mind when you travel. Agreed? Here's the other thing. I'm going to talk about this and I'm going to speed through a couple more things. But as I said before at the outset, we're not getting out of this thing called life alive, right? And this is ironic because this is November 11th, and what transpired on this day many, many years ago is the reason why I'm in front of you. And the reason why I spend so much time on the insurance is because I had an older brother. My oldest brother went out, but he didn't come back home. Sudden, unexpected, didn't come back home. At the time, I had 7 brothers and 3 sisters. My father was a hardworking mechanic. He never thought that any of his kids would predecease him. And what most hardworking parents do is they make sure that you have a roof, food, clothing, but they don't make sure that everyone has insurance. They don't think that a healthy 23-year-old is not going to make it back home. So my father had to scramble and grab, and this is way before GoFundMe, had to ask for help. A proud man had to ask for help to bury his firstborn. So my father got enough money to have a service at J.B. Johnson's, but he didn't have enough money for the burial. What some cemeteries have are what they call potter's fields. That's where they put derelicts, indigents, and bums, and people that don't have money. I didn't think we were derelicts. I didn't think we were bums. I didn't think we were... But that's where my brother laid. because we didn't have enough money for insurance or any insurance. So that's the reason why I ask people, I spend a lot of time on this. When you leave your house, your home, what do we usually say? Love you, do your chores, clean up the room, stuff like that. We assume that we're going to come back and we're going to have clean rooms, or we're going to have to say something that, didn't I tell you to do this? But what if we don't come back? Or what if the person that we said that to doesn't come back home? I'm asking you, when you leave your home, make sure you have that peace of mind, knowing that anyone who's part of your family, your immediate family that you love and dearly, our bases are covered. Yes.
But I have a son, he's in his 40s, and I noticed, he drives cars very fast. He lives a kind of risky life. So I took out an insurance on him because I don't know, not that I want him to die before me, but just in case, anything happens, there's money to give him a proper burial.
And that's all you're asking. We're not asking to leave $1 million to this one or that one. We just want to make sure that we have the ability to provide a proper burial. And here's the other thing. I spend a lot of time on this because many people think that proper burial means different things to different people. But we do a lot of family transitional consulting, and we go to funeral homes, and we help families with pre-arrangements. And pre-arrangements, imagine when you go to the funeral home and someone passed away. Do you make good decisions when you have tears coming down your eyes? I have an Uncle Lou. I've already made his arrangement. I have an Uncle Lou. He thinks he's going to get a gold casket. I said, Uncle Lou, you got 2 nickels to your name. You're not getting a gold casket. Okay? We talked about that. He says, Nick, I saw this ad. It says, when the very best is the least that you can do for your loved one. No, Uncle Lou, you're not getting the gold casket. You're getting the $2,500 special. That's it. But the thing is this. We are so afraid. We're conditioned to be afraid to talk about life happening. Like, don't talk about it because, yes, it's going to happen. Not today, hopefully. And if you get kicked by a giraffe tomorrow, that's not my fault. I'm going to talk to you about the possibility of getting kicked by a giraffe. And the giraffe takes you out of here yesterday. If that happened yesterday, what's going to happen? Have you spoken to anyone? Have you spoken to anyone that says, these are what I want. I want to go to Murphy's. I want to go to J.B. Johnson. I want to go to Davis. I want to go to Riley Antone. Did you talk to anyone about this? Is there a possibility that we might not wake up tomorrow? But have you spoken to anyone about this? Would it be important for you to speak to someone about this? And the person that's going to take care of your final arrangements, you need to make sure that you can trust them with a plug nickel. And typically you don't want to leave a minor, anyone under 18, as a beneficiary or 100% beneficiary of your life insurance. Because if they're a minor, they can't sign any legal documents. So we might love Junebug and Pookie, but if they can't read or write or sign a document, they can't help us. I need you. I'm putting you in the driver's seat. I'm challenging you to make sure that if something would have happened to you yesterday, make sure you know what your exit strategy is. Because otherwise, we leave a mess for people. Oftentimes, when you least expect it, we have this dumped on us, and we have to figure out, and does anyone know where your important documents are? Where? So I can. Where? Which one? Am I in it? Oh, okay. Make sure people know where your important documents are. If you left here yesterday, make sure you let someone know. Now, we have options. We can have a direct cremation. We're talking from a cost perspective. We have a direct cremation, $2,500. We can have a viewing in a cremation. We can have a viewing at the funeral home and then a burial. We can have a viewing at the church and a burial. We can have a viewing at the church and a cremation. Whatever it is, you want to sit in front of that funeral home director and tell he or she what your wishes are. And the other thing is this. How many of you have told your story? I've known you for 25 years. I still can't tell you your story. I can't talk about all the wonderful things that you've done, where you were born, who your parents were, where you grew up, what you did in this life. Tell your story. I'm asking people to do things that at some point is going to become very important. Tell your story. Is that impossible? Am I asking too much? Can you tell your story? Can you tell her story? Not yet. But do you think that's important? Because if you leave it up to me, I say, you know what, she was, you know what, you're a rocket scientist, you actually flew on the Apollo one time. Yeah, let me tell the story. But who can tell your story better than you? You with me? Do you think that's something you might want to do? Okay. Fast forward. Whoops. Oops. Yeah, okay. I'm not going to talk about that. I want to get to the good stuff. Oh, I'm not going to do that either. Here we go. If you're retired, I'm doing something with the district attorney. They're doing a lot of things now. Are we taking pictures of my good stuff here? No, of me, yeah, not that. This is 20 years worth of work. You can't get that in 5 minutes. If you are of retirement age, if you are on a fixed income, I need you to repeat after me. Someone is going to call you, your phone, your landline, whatever it is, and they're going to say, little Johnny, little Jimmy, your niece, nephew, grandchild is in trouble. And they just need $2,000 to get them out of trouble, and you just have to get these cash cards, gift cards, and send it to them, and then the attorney's going to do what they need to do. Repeat after me. 2 ways we can handle this. They're going to talk to you. I want you to have fun with this. Well, we just need $2,500 to get little John and little Jane out of trouble. So how much is it? $2,500. Well, guess what? $2,500 is exactly what they owe me. So when they work out their issues with you, you tell them to reach out to me. Keep your money in your pocket. The other thing is you can say is this. It might be a little bit easier. Someone asks you for your money, if you're on a fixed income, and even if you don't. If someone's asking you for your money, say, I don't have it to give. Right. We're not telling no stories. We might have it, but we just don't have it to give. Okay? We're going to tell the truth in the church, right? Okay, just saying. Oh, did you win $1 million last year too?
Well, they told me I won $1 million and I should send maybe about 500 to claim it. How should I do with that?
I think you should do that. Someone contacted him and told him that he won $1 million, and they just said, well, in order for you to receive the $1 million, this guy just send him $500. That sounds like a good deal. That's not a scam. It's a scam. Anyone calling you, oh, here's the other thing. The IRS, they are not going to call you. The lottery, they're not going to call you, especially if you don't play the lottery. Social Security, they're not going to call you. Do not give anyone your information over the phone. If your bank calls you, it says, I want you to speak to my nephew who's a police officer because I don't fully understand what you're saying here, and then click. Okay? And then click. None of these institutions are going to contact you. You contact the number that you know and say, hey, were you trying to reach me? Or you go and find the right number for the IRS or the Department of Revenue, whoever it is. You find the right number and says, are you trying to reach me? Oh, no, because I just got this phone call and they said that they had an issue and they wanted me to give you my bank account information. Click. Do not, under any circumstances, give any information over the phone. I was speaking to a group of seniors a couple months ago, and they said, Nick, you should have came here 6 months ago because that's exactly, and the thing is they know who they're speaking to. They may be in another country, and they just get you to talking, and they just get you to comfortable, and then you just start to don't give anyone any of your information because it's just that easy, okay? So if you're not retired, you have to do something to retire because we can't rely on pensions anymore. We have to do something for retirement. Now, here's the thing. Who's still working? Who's still working? Okay. If you're still working, your company gave you, they have open enrollment, right? Open enrollment, it ends Monday. They're just going to give you a book with 200 pages. Say, listen, read this and make a decision in 30 minutes as to what all the benefits that you want to sign up for. Okay? It's not their job to explain to you what all those benefits are. Really, really confusing, but you have to utilize these benefits. Take your time and understand, because let me explain something to you. The people who have access to a 401k or 403b, the person you're sitting right next to, that corny person that brown bags it all the time, that doesn't wear all the fancy clothes, I bet you they're using their 401k. They don't explain to you how important the 401k is. It gives you a chance to put money away for retirement, to supplement your Social Security. They weren't talking about this. They weren't talking about this to people who are currently retired 30 years ago. They just started talking about this, 25 more so within the last 25 years. Wouldn't it have been nice if you could just set aside an extra $5 and put it towards retirement? Wouldn't it have been nice? Wouldn't it have been nice if someone just sat down and explained this really complicated stuff to you? Wouldn't it be nice? Human Resources says it's not our job to explain this to you. You have to figure this out yourself. We can't teach you this stuff. It's up to you to do this. The last thing I'm going to talk to you about is this. Whoops. And it applies to everyone here. Hope I can get out of here. Here we go. Estate planning. Everyone here needs to have an estate plan. This is your ultimate exit strategy. If you have more than 2 nickels to your name, you need to have a proper estate plan. That means you have to have a will. A will is a legal document that you specify who gets what. Now, I already told you, my Uncle Lou is not going to get my Al Green collection. I'll tell you that much, okay? It's in my will. He's not getting it. For Palmer and Funkadelics, all those folks. You have to specify who gets what. Because if you don't, the courts are going to decide. And oftentimes they may decide to the smoothest character in your family that doesn't have your best interests, or wouldn't even pay you a visit when you're sick or in need. So you need to have a will and specify who gets what, who gets the house, car, dogs. Am I in your will? We go back like an hour and a half. No? Okay, maybe not. Okay. I got the look. So your will specifies who gets all your important things, your assets. You also need a durable power of attorney. A durable power of attorney says, if I'm ever incapacitated, I need someone to take care of my personal and financial affairs when I'm unable to. Has anyone had a situation where they need to be the durable power of attorney for someone? Has anyone had to become a durable power of attorney for someone, a family member? What did you have to do for your brother?
Make sure his medical things are in order. Answer to the doctor.
No, that's healthcare proxy. I'm going to get to that. Your power, okay, so a power of attorney takes care of someone who's going to take care of your personal and financial affairs, your banking, insurance, your mortgage, any financial relationship that you have. Your power of attorney can do those things. Now, it only works while you are alive. So they're acting on your behalf while you are alive. If you're no longer here, that power goes away. Does it make sense? A power of attorney is a very important document, so you have to choose wisely as to who you name as your power of attorney. It can't be someone who's going to go to the racetrack or go gamble with the money away. Can't be that person. Can't be my Uncle Lou. Now, I'm going to also talk to you about, Alicia knows about this, a healthcare proxy. Does that sound familiar? Okay. Show of hands. Who understands a healthcare proxy? And a healthcare proxy does what? You just mentioned it.
Oh, make sure the bills are paid. Make sure you take him to the doctor, to his doctor's appointment, you speak to the nurses, you speak to the doctors, you make decisions on his life, and things like that.
And the part of the Hippocratic Oath, the doctors say, first, do no harm. That means they need to do whatever they can to sustain your life and take care of you, correct? But if you have something in writing that says, listen, if it doesn't look good, if I'm not here, if the quality of my life is not going to be, I mean, if I'm brain dead or something like that, let me go. If you don't have that in writing, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to keep trying, and they're going to keep running that bill up. They're going to keep trying and running that bill up. But would it be merciful if you had something in writing that says, listen, if my quality of life, if the effort that you exert for me is going to far exceed the benefit, then let me go peacefully. And you have to have that in writing, otherwise we're in a little bit of trouble. Yes. Oh, can you have the microphone?
It's very important for everyone over the age of 18 to have a healthcare proxy. And the healthcare proxy is the person that you're going to discuss with to make medical decisions for you in the event that you can't make it yourself. Okay, so you're in a coma, bad accident, you have a tube down your throat, you can't speak. This person is making your decisions for you. Now, if you don't have a healthcare proxy, then the hospital is going to go to court and get you a guardian. So that's the next thing. And the guardian could be a family member, or it could be a stranger that the court designates to make these decisions on your behalf. So very important for every single person over the age of 18 to have a healthcare proxy. And you mentioned about talking about how you want to be treated if you're sick. That's called a MOLST form, MOLST. And then you can say, okay, if my heart stops, please don't do CPR, or you can do CPR, but then I don't want a feeding tube, or I don't want, to have a tracheostomy in my throat if I can't breathe on my own. Thanks.
You thought I was going to come by myself? I have backup here. And let me explain something to you. The person who is your health care proxy should have your best interests in mind. Once again, it's not my Uncle Lou. A few years ago, Uncle Lou thought he was my health care proxy. Someone told Uncle Lou that I was in the hospital. He said, pull the plug, pull the plug. It was just a splint. It was just a splint. Choose wisely. But every document I'm talking to you about, you absolutely need. It shouldn't be an option. And the fact is, if this is the first time that you've heard this, shame on the people that care about you that didn't discuss this with you. The last thing I'm going to talk to you about is executor. The executor is the person that you name to decide who gets what. It's spelled out in your will. You have to specify who is going to be your executor. If you have a car, if you have any assets, if you have a bank account, if you have anything, when you leave, everything shuts down. If any financial institution finds out that you have passed, they will shut your account down. No one will have access to that account unless it's a joint account. If you own that account by yourself, everything gets shut down. No one can go and use the ATM and do anything. Some people say, well, if anything happens to me, I don't need insurance. I just have enough money in my bank account to take care of that. If your bank finds out that you're not here, that bank account shuts down. So then we have to go to the probate aspect. Right? We do a lot of probate where we go in and families, yes. Yes and no. I do it all the time. So what happens is you have to specify, no one's going to give you access to the decedent's assets unless the courts specify yes. Now, the court's not going to be intrusive and look at everything. They'll say, nope, the person was careful, they have a trust, let's name Jane or John the executor, and then they can do what they need to do. Yes. Good question. Yes.
For the accounts, if you have beneficiary for the accounts, how will that work?
If you show, so depending on the bank, if you show them a death certificate, then they will give you the money, and you don't have to go through the probate process. So that's a great question. Anyone else? So the other thing is this. If there's minor children involved, and I'm wrapping up, I'm going to wrap up early. If there's minor children involved, let's say that we have a child that has minor children, and they leave. We need to make provisions for those children. We need to see who is going to be the caretaker of those minor children. That would be the custodian. And then the trustee is the person that would manage the money for the minor child or children. Does that make sense? So if you're good with kids, I don't like kids, I got 3, I'm outnumbered. But if you're good with kids, then that would probably be the custodian for the children and make sure that they're well taken care of and all this. And then the trustee could be someone who's pretty good with money. I could probably do that, but I don't want to because it benefits kids and I don't like kids. So you want to separate who does what and spell it out because you want to have the greatest amount of control over your entire financial life. Does that make sense? That's all I'm going to say about that. Any quick questions? Try that again so they can hear you.
I wanted to say that a trustee should be someone who's got no personal interest to the estate wealth, like the deceased wealth. Otherwise, it's going to take sides.
Did you hear what she said? She says the trustee typically should be an unbiased person. Otherwise, they may take, actually, they have to be good stewards of their finances too, because you don't want them to spend the money. But the trustee, ideally, should be someone that you trust and is non-biased and will do whatever they can to benefit the minor children and the custodian. One more question? Good. Listen, I promised I was going to get you out of here at a decent time. I want to thank you very much for your time and your patience and humoring me, but I'm hoping more importantly that this information will benefit you and those closest to you, and I'm hoping that you will become proactive in doing whatever is going to benefit you and those closest to you. Make sense? Okay. See you soon.
Thank you so much, Nick, for coming, and hopefully this won't be the last time. Maybe we can have him back again. What do you guys think? We should have him back again? I think that would be a great idea. So for closing, we're going to have Sister Kenya come up and pray for us.
Let's give him another round of applause. So he have taught us what most important person is us, right? And also to keep our money, the 3F, family, financial, and I missed the last one. Faith, family, and financial. So keep those in mind. It's very important. Let us stand for prayer. Let us pray. Thank you, Almighty Father, for giving us this opportunity, oh Father, to be good stewards, to keep in mind that the only power that we have is relying on you and also in getting help. Keep our money to remind ourselves to give you back that money and also to help those in need. Help us as we go back home, that we know that you are with us, with our families, and those who are here. I pray for Nick traveling at mercy as he go back home, and also we pray, oh Father, that we can continue being good stewards in your name. In Jesus' precious name I pray today. Amen.